first matchup. On the left, it is going to be Nihow, hailing from Hong Kong. And so, of course, his ID written in his own language, but it is going to be Nihow. And then on the right side, we've got Oculus hailing from Korea. All right away on Beneath the Lilies, a map where it is really just about playing clean and just perfect as possible. Nihow over there on the top. And then we'll just be able to keep track of both here. There's the pink bear jellies coming in for Oculus, making sure he's getting all the extra 3,000 points.
Yeah, and Oculus, his game started a little bit faster than Nihow's there on top, and so you can, it's almost like you get to look into the future here on Oculus. So it'll make it hard to compare the scores immediately, but...
Yeah, Oculus already missing a couple big Lotus Gem jellies, though, on that first burst, so I think that's already going to come into play. He's going to have to make sure he doesn't make any more mistakes, because you already see just off of that, he's starting on the back foot, 600,000 points behind, or just about.
Yeah, that's painful, especially considering, you know, that he has a little bit of a quicker start right now.
And also, he went for the extra points on the pink bear jellies, but missing more than he needed to on those jumps. Usually you can get by just missing 2 of those we saw yesterday, but it looks like on that first one he's missing, you know, maybe 3 or 4. Thankfully, both players not missing the rainbow bear jellies here as you kind of weave in between the cogwheels, making sure you get all the destruction points, but missing more pink bear jellies here from Oculus.
Yeah, I mean, he's optimizing for the destruction points, but the fact that the pink bear jellies are the important thing here for Oculus, it's painful to miss those.
Yeah, that's a rough one, but we'll see if he's able to make sure he cleans up in the rest of it. Cleaning up all the Lotus Gem jellies here, same thing for Nihow on top.
Yeah, Nihow doing a very good job. The play has been so clean. I've mostly been keyed in on Oculus because, of course, those pink bear jellies are so important for him with his build. In terms of Nihow, though, every time I look at the top side of the screen, it's just perfection. I feel like barely anything is getting missed, and that has culminated in a 2.5 million point lead.
Yeah, at this point, again, we saw it a lot yesterday, but once you're well over that 1 million point on this map, it comes down to whether the person in the lead makes mistakes or not. Now, can they clean up every single one as they go above the pedals here? So far, looking good for Oculus. Nihow's already missed 1 Lotus Gem jelly. Oculus goes perfectly clean, it looks like, for the entire run.
Wow, did he?
But it's not going to be enough to catch him up just yet.
Yeah, we'll close the gap a little bit. It's very hard to get every single Lotus Gem in that kind of situation, but man, props to Oculus for pulling it off. I feel like that's a rarity. Even on day 1, we didn't see that happen very often.
Yeah, it was a bit of a difficult aspect, but both players still keeping calm. And now here's a big drop, cleans up both lines, and same for Nihow up top.
Yeah, well done by both of them, also collecting every single Lotus Gem. And it looks like Oculus might be a little bit further, but maybe like 1 meter at most. It's basically a wash in terms of distance.
I think it's, maybe he can get like 1 extra Lotus Gem jelly, but here's the big one. You don't want to miss a single line, okay? Oh no, a huge miss with 4 being left behind from Nihow. That closes the gap down to about 1 million, cuts it down to half.
Yeah, and then misses another Lotus Gem right there after that. Maybe a little bit shaken up by that miss. Those drops have been devastating for players. This might not be one of the most difficult maps, but that means that you need to nail every single one of these drops. Even though it's simple, it's harder than it looks, man. The timing has to be perfect, and I think with the nerves on stage, most players are a little bit early on that drop.
And I think right now, Oculus has to think about the later part of this run. If he can maximize the distance that he's going to get with the Ion Robot and take advantage of the fact that he might get 1 or 2 extra jellies from that relay, he might be able to flip this right at the end, keeping close. Okay, doesn't miss that Lotus Gem jelly. Looked a little dicey, but he's going to be okay.
Oculus has been doing a great job. The early portion of this run was a little bit shaky for Oculus, but since then he has really nailed it down. That lead whittled down to about 1 million. That is surmountable if we have a couple more misses come in from Nihow.
Yeah, trying to make sure that he stays afloat. Oh, had to skip out on 1, but an extra 1 missed out by Nihow, but I don't think it's going to be enough. Just barely staying ahead at about 600,000 points. Nihow closes it out with a win to start off the day. All right, well, let's take a look at our next matchup for now. Chris versus Jung-Ho. It's going to be Chris on the left. Both of them, their IDs in Korean, but Jung-Ho on the right. So here in Group A, Chris on the top saying hello to the camera. Okay, and Jung-Ho on the bottom. Okay, I haven't seen anyone with that much leisure on the stage yet, but you love to see it.
Chris seems nice and comfortable. I like him waving to us there on stage.
Well, we'll see if it pays off for him. Jung-Ho right now locked in on the bottom parts of your screen. Of course, no big mishaps yet here in the very beginning. Missing a couple of the smaller jellies there.
Ooh, Lotus gets missed there, excuse me, by Jung-Ho.
Yeah, both of them, I think, actually missing 1, in fact. So the points still keeping pretty close because of that.
impressive to me they're able to catch both of them. I feel like I need 2 sets of ice to actually be able to do it.
Oh no! Oh no! The controls on the phone! Chris with a big blunder!
Yeah.
I mean,
we've all been there.
But you have to keep going, and this is the thing about playing live. You can't just pause and redo it. You just have to keep going, and that has cost him so much because we saw a big chunk of those Lotus Gem jellies coming up, and he missed an entire set of them.
Wow, that is that's a first for me, Trevor. I don't think I've ever seen that happen here in a CookieRun competition.
That is rough.
Oh, it's painful.
But here's the thing. Considering how big of a mistake that is, I don't think this is quite over just yet. Even there, just on the destruction, we see Chris getting one more ahead of Jung-Ho. And we have to remember that Chris still had the all jellies, and you see how big of a difference things can make, of course, once you move on to the Ion Robot jelly as well, or Ion Robot Cookie, excuse me, as well as if you get a good relay, you can get a couple more Lotus Gem jellies. So let's keep our eyes to see if we can catch up. For now, the gap is pretty sizable at 2 million.
The gap is sizable. We have seen people, when it comes to those big drops that come in the latter section of the map, they have fumbled the bag a little bit here.
Exactly.
So that's something you got to keep an eye on here for Jung-Ho. Will he be able to nail those big drops, get every single Lotus Gem, or will Chris have an opportunity to close the distance?
All right, for now, just staying locked in. Good to see that Chris not too shaken by it seems. All right, here's the whole petals as you go through. See if you can collect all the Lotus Gem jellies, both of them. Just missing out the one that you needed to reset your jumps. And they will clean up the rest of the run as they come back onto the platforms.
Yeah, well done on both sides. And coming up pretty soon, we're going to have those drops. I'm so curious how that's going to go here for Chris. It can be a little bit nerve-wracking when you have a situation like that when you load up the controls or misinput the controls there on the phone. Oh, one Lotus gets missed.
Oh, no.
Oh, another one gets missed. I was just about to say that since that moment, they have really been able to clutch in. Can they do it again here on the drop? Okay, both players able to get every single one successfully. Now we're going to have the handoff.
Yeah, but, I mean, Chris is the one who needs to make sure that he's playing perfect and hope that Jung-Ho makes another or one mistake on his side. Now, it does seem like Chris maybe got just one extra gem's length of that, but here's the big drop with the 4 columns, and both of them go clean. But unfortunately for Chris, that means that he doesn't really have much of an opportunity to try to catch up.
Yeah, Jung-Ho just doing a great job on the defense, and
man.
no, 2 more Lotus Gems get missed here for Chris. It feels like everything that could go wrong is going wrong in this run.
It's starting to add up, and you got to imagine that this one's already down the drain for Chris. You know, still going to try to do his best to wrap up and showcase whatever he can, but the gap just continues to get bigger and bigger as Jung-Ho now leading with 5 million points during the live calculation here.
All right, another double jump coming in. Both players had to get all 4 Lotus Gems successfully here. And for Chris, he's kind of hoping for a miracle in a moment like this one. Trying to close the gap, but it's gotten so wide. And when you miss Lotus Gems like that again here for Chris, it just adds insult to injury. It's so painful.
Yeah, well, Jung-Ho on the bottom parts of your screen just continue to play his own game, and when you start to see that number being that large on the right part of your screens, you start to just make sure that you're playing safe, right? Just don't make a big mistake. You don't have to greed for anything too crazy, right? If you miss one Lotus Gem like that, it's okay. Okay, he does miss 2, but at the end of the day, he was so far ahead, and oh, that one stings for Chris. That one stings for Chris, but hopefully that is a lesson learned as we go through the rest of the round robin. And for now, Jung-Ho, quick review of their bios. Once again, Jung-Ho now switching over to the left side, so he should be at the top of our screens once we get in. Oculus. Jung-Ho looking to secure a hefty lead and pretty much guarantee his spot in the semifinals. He's going to be at the top, and Oculus, of course, on the bottom parts of your screen.
And my eyes are going to be glued on Oculus's screen here for this early stage. The early game was really where they struggled in their opening match of the night. Can they get a cleaner performance here this time?
So far, staying even, doesn't miss out on that. And this, oh, he gets all of them this time, and Jung-Ho misses one of the Lotus Gem jellies, so it's going to be a bit of a lead for Oculus.
Well done there by Oculus, absolutely locking in right now on stage. This is a much cleaner performance than it was in the opening match.
Yeah, he looks a lot more calm and comfortable as well, and of course it's going to help knowing that he has, you know, it's a small lead, but knowing that he has a lead, knowing that he has, oh, and right as I say that, he does leave out one of the Lotus Gem jellies, but will be able to try to catch up and just stay right next to each other.
Yeah, -1 for each of them now, so it's dead even in terms of Lotus Gems. It's just the basic jellies that are really proving to be a difference, but 9,000 points, that is nothing. Most games usually decided by about 1 million here on this map, and So far, our players are navigating it very well. Honestly, even though Jung-Ho won their first map, it seems like they're doing better here.
Yeah, but Oculus still missing out a couple of those pink bear jellies. So again, he doesn't have the same blessing, but that is going to cost him a little bit of the points. Of course, he's going to still keep the small lead that he has. I would assume mostly because of the all jellies really compounding together.
And of course, these Lotus Gems, they are not magnetic, so even though you pick up the magnet, you still got to confirm the jumps on these ones, and both players do it beautifully here in this early stage. Double jump to get all 6 there. Looking very good on both sides. What a close match we have.
Yeah, and just make sure that you don't leave any behind here on that line. They'll clean that up, and soon enough, another big challenge coming up here as they land onto the pedals, trying to make sure that you jump through and don't leave any extra ones behind.
Yeah, wow,
Oh,
usually
okay,
players
Oculus.
try to reset the jumps. Oculus actually didn't. They're able to get every single one. That is very tricky to do.
Same with Jung-Ho, though, this time
Whoa.
making sure that he keeps the lead. I think both of them quite well aware of how close this game is so far.
Yeah, so they both take the risk to try and get that final extra gem, and they are able to do it successfully. This one might come down to the drops, though. Are both players, okay, both of them miss one
Yep,
Lotus gem
both of
there.
them.
And now this very big drop coming in. All right, well executed on both sides. This is still such a close match.
Now, well, we'll see. That just ends the Spanish Cookie Run. Now relay onto the Ion Robot. Both of them getting about the equal distance on that relay. And now the blessings are the same as well, so it just comes down to execution.
Okay, another very big drop coming in, and he misses. No, it's
Ooh.
perfect on both sides.
It's still neck and neck. I mean, 200,000. This could flip just one Lotus Gem Jelly. Oh, 2 Lotus Gem Jellies. A couple extra jellies missed out on the side of Oculus. That brings it down to 300,000 now.
I wonder if those pink bear jellies are what's carrying the freight right now here for Jung-Ho. They have a 300,000 point lead as we enter the twilight of this map, the later stages. Okay, more jumps coming in. This is an easier section, able to get all of these Lotus Gems. Any mistake at this moment is critical. It could prove to be disastrous for either of them, but they're navigating everything so well.
I mean, it looks like they're just mirrored right now, both of them timing it perfectly, but Oculus keeps missing out on 1 or 2 extra basic jellies at the end of these runs, right as he has to go for the jump, and I think that might cost him at the end of the day. Do we see them both clean up? The Lotus Gem jellies are still equal. There is barely any difference, but it might just come down to 1, 5, 10 basic jellies here for Oculus as he tries to make sure that he can catch up.
I absolutely think that might be what it is. The Lotus Gems, they feel nearly identical on both sides. Both players, they haven't made a mistake in so long. They're catching almost
Okay, at the end here, do you get that extra distance with the jump? It's timed, and both of them time it perfectly to clean up the Lotus Gem jellies, and that gives a big boost here for Jung-Ho as he is going to keep the lead. The extra points just throughout every part compounds at the end for a big lead for Jung-Ho.
All right, so far 0-1 here for Chris on the left. Nihow 1-0. A second win here would basically guarantee them a spot.
And Nihow, of course, if he wins this, he should feel pretty safe to at least qualify to the semifinals. We start with Yugua. They're going to start off by using that Hopei, the Tiger Badge skills right away, saving one to the very end. It looks like the connection lost a little bit, but it should reset. Don't worry. Don't worry. It comes back pretty quickly.
I was scared a little bit there, Trover, but you calmed me down. You can tell that Chris on camera, he didn't really react. So I think it's just the feed. It's just the feed coming in for us.
Yeah, and right now, both of them just making sure that they are going to use that skill at the right time. Both of them now 1 charge left. They should use that right before they're able to hop back onto the Tiger. Here we go. And there it is right near that last jump, and now back onto the Tiger and recharging the badge.
Everything looking really similar right now for both of these players. Not too much of a difference in terms of the points collected. 1.6 million actually going all the way down to 500K as things seek up a little bit there.
Okay, a nice jump. Both of them taking the exact same ideas on when to use the badge, but it might just come down to, did you use it just half a second too late? Maybe just 1 extra obstacle missed, as they do stay neck and neck right below 1 million points difference, collecting all the yellow bear jellies as well.
Yeah, here on Boiling Stock Village, it all comes down to those destruction points. They are critical as once again we have the skill activation coming through. Ability getting used as frequently as possible here on both sides, able to collect all the points successfully.
Yeah, you want to just maximize all 6 charges. Okay, both of them having to leave 1 behind. Finally, on the last one, Nihow gets the lead with a big yellow giant bear jelly, but it looks like it might start to equalize again. Another extra one missed from Chris.
Yeah, finally Nihow able to get another one there on the finish. Really good in those last jumps. That's going to culminate in a 600,000 point lead overall.
All right, and a nice clean use of the last batch charge once again from both players, and this should be the last time they're hopping onto the Tiger for all the extra charges.
Yeah, and now that we enter the more scary, fiery stage part of this map, things get really tricky. This is where the map is more difficult, where it's harder to get every single destruction point. Will the players be able to do this successfully so far, managing these single jumps and these double jumps very well?
Yep, and now 2 charges left for both of them still using those skills at the exact same time. Oh, it looks like, okay, Chris going for that earlier one on the drop, going for the extra destruction points to try to catch up. But at the end of the day, that just means that Nihow could use 2 later on to get a little bit more on the destruction. We'll see how the points equalize at the end of this skill. Now we are going to go for the swap. A nice jump on the relay. Both of them land onto the yellow bear jelly, so it should be equal distance.
Completely equal distance, but Nihow earlier fell down. I think they might have actually missed a jump, and now that lead has changed hands. Chris is going to be up 700,000 points, being able to collect the extra bear jellies from that. Now, will the destruction points make a difference here for Nihow? Will that allow them to get back into this game?
It looks like it is going to catch him up just a little bit, as Chris, I think, mistimed the second use of that smash from the orange cookie, but it's still so close. And right now, Nihow might have to also focus on the fact that he needs to maximize all the points during burst mode here.
Yeah, it's very tricky. It's a very tricky situation here for Nihow. This is a neck-and-neck game.
Yeah, but starting to really fall apart here as Chris trying to stay as clean as possible. Of course, a little bit ahead on our screen, so we'll see if Chris is going to make any mistakes continuing to go for the extra destructions, and he's just going through it. Nihow making a bit of a blunder. He loses so much energy, and now trying to catch back up.
That's a devastating moment. So many more destruction points coming in here for Chris, and that's a 10 million point lead. The game was so close just a moment ago, but now it might already be out of reach. There's a little bit more flat map to be played here on Boiling Stock Village, but I don't know if there's enough left here, Chobra, for Nihow to stage a comeback.
No, I think it's going to be too late. I mean, just a couple of those big blunders. We will have to see to the very end as Nihow's screen is going to be slightly behind. But the last couple bits, like the big chunks of the points we've already missed out on. And that should be Chris keeping the lead at the very end, even getting a little bit extra distance. And you can see what it meant for him to stay alive here in the round robin. He did not want to end his journey this early. Chris, though, he needs to win this because just in case you see Nihow kind of bring it back and maybe take the win against Jung-Ho all the way at the end. Chris once again on the top parts of your screen. Oculus now on the bottom parts of your screen, continuing to play with the headset off just to make sure that he's taking the entire environment in. We kick off with the Yugwa cookie. And until that very last use, it's all pretty straightforward. Once they hop off of the Tiger, this is where you have to start to consider min-maxing to make sure that you're getting as many destructions as possible with those badges.
Yeah, in the early stages of this map, relatively simple, so you want to make sure that you get every single coin you can, every single basic jelly that you can, because from here on out, things are only going to get harder.
Yeah, I mean, already we're seeing them kind of have to leave behind 1 or 2 extra than we normally see. Oculus, once again, he does seem to always jump a bit early, trying to take it a little bit too safe. For now, it looks like he's in the lead, but we saw how all those small jellies, the basic jellies, can also count towards the end, so we'll have to keep an eye on the points.
Yeah, but I'm really wondering about those destruction points that are coming in later on in this map, because it feels like that is usually what makes or breaks a run for both players. You know, the early game, it's always so close like this one. In this instance, it's Oculus with a very small lead over Chris. Both these players navigating the early game exceptionally well. But once we get into the chaos of all the destruction points coming in and some very tricky jumps and dives, I'm not sure, man.
No, we'll have to see. I mean, Oculus still just keeping up for now, but I can't just shake the feeling that it might just be some of these extra basic jellies that cost him in the end once again, because he's barely ahead. He's just barely ahead, and it doesn't count for too much. Again, folks, this is just the feed. It should be fine as Chris's screen comes back.
The player is completely fine whenever the screen goes black like that. It's just the feed that we're getting from the players. That's why you see Chris not reacting at all. And you don't have to worry about that. Everything is going to be fine.
Now Oculus starting to fall a bit behind, though, on some of those destruction points. Trying to make sure. Now he is going to have an opportunity, as we saw with Nihow earlier. Once you go over to that orange cookie, he should have an opportunity to make sure that he either takes the lead or keeps the lead during that blast mode. But If it starts to fall apart too much before that, during the You Got Cookie phase, that's when things get a little dicey.
This is exceptionally close still, Trobor. It's kind of hard to believe is for a moment Chris's screen also going back to the
well,
flag.
just focus on Oculus screen for now. Let's move on with it. Oh, he misses the Bear Jelly Party.
Yeah.
So that's going to be a massive burst of points that Oculus is going to be missing out on.
Oh, man, it reminds me of the previous map that we had played. All right, the relay is going to be happening here in just a moment, but Chris just in a fantastic position right now, leading by about 3 million points.
Yeah, it does get the nice relay for both players, it looks like, as Chris's screen comes back, but Oculus right now, you're already quite far behind, 2 to 3 million point difference, but I think that's still somewhat redeemable if you get the perfect destructions here, and then you maximize the blast mode. He's trying to go through, gets most of them as you normally would want, but so does Chris.
Yeah, the Yellow Bear stage a little bit over right now. It's all about the destruction points here for Oculus, and we've seen in the past about 8 million point swings here in the later stages of this map. Now Oculus is going to need that to go his way if he wants to stay alive here in the CookieRun World Championship. As it is, though, it feels like Chris is just continuing to be so solid, so consistent. I'm not sure they're going to make that mistake, have that moment of weakness.
Oculus does have one extra charge of the smash left on his skill, so he had one more. He didn't use it on that earlier part. Curious to see if he has something in store to make a big difference here. Still has one, but as we've seen before, the rest of this run doesn't have as many big bursts for destruction, so I don't know if Oculus perhaps just missed one of those phases and he doesn't have an opportunity to catch back up, as now both of them filling up those charges once again.
Gonna have to leverage that advantage here with the extra charge, but when will they decide to use it?
Yeah, trying to use it not just for the destruction, but also the blast mode, but I don't think it's going to be enough.
It certainly helps. The gap is closed. They still have one more, whereas Chris has nothing. It's going to be enough here for Oculus. They still have that one charge, Torbra.
Yeah, see if he can try to maximize it, but now you have to go for that jump. He's not able to secure the jellies up in the sky as well, and now Chris going up 2-1, getting the 2 wins, getting the 2-1 record. Celebrating with a sticker on the phone case right now as he wraps up his round robin stage with 9 points on the board.
So good coming into this one. GCL points ranking 9 overall.
Jung-Ho's going to be at the top of your screens. We'll try to continue to remind you throughout the entire race as we see Nihow on the bottom. Both of them pretty much fighting for their tournament life. And Nihow kicking things off here on the bottom side. Of course, this first phase shouldn't cause too much of a big difference as we do see Jung-Ho catching up.
Yeah, here on Boiling Stock Village, the early game has been remarkably close today. You know, it's been close yesterday as well, but today in particular, the players are just really locked in here for the very early stage. But the destruction points later on, especially after we have the handoff, passing the baton onto the second cookie, is where a lot of the critical things come in.
Yeah, but Nihow already missing out on a little bit more. I think one of those destruction phases of the badges was just a bit later than we saw on Jung-Ho's screen, so he's already a little bit far behind. Of course, the calculation will try to keep up and catch up live throughout the race, but we'll have to see if Nihow is able to get the lead at some point.
So far, both players perfect here with the single jumps, the double jumps, and the slides, getting all the points possible. Now here come the Big Bear Jellies. Will every single one get caught on both sides? Indeed they will. So well executed here in the early game, and no mistakes from either player just yet. Perfection here in the early stages.
Yeah, and Nihow actually catching back up. We saw Jung-Ho kind of mistiming that last badge thrown. Leaves behind one extra obstacle, it seemed like. And so that currently ties things up once again between these two players.
Yeah, using the ability there, the active ability. Basically identical times. Now the drops coming in. We've seen a lot of players miss single bear jellies on this one. Okay, the final jump. Actually, Nihow missing one of them. So Jung-Ho closing distance a little bit as a result. Yeah,
and continuing to miss one on every single one, but same for Jung-Ho. So not trying to greed it, just making sure that they're playing safe as we move forward. Still around a 200,000, 300,000 point difference.
It is remarkably close, Chobra, and it's so hard to get every single one of those jellies on the drops.
Now continuing on forward with the blast mode as we enter the second area of this run. Now you're only going to have a couple more opportunities for your active skill, and that can make a difference before we switch over to the orange cookie.
Yeah, pretty soon it's going to be all about those destruction points. These points, the scores, I should say, can explode on both sides very quickly. Deciding when you want to use the abilities is also going to be pivotal. So far, both players with both charges.
Oh, okay, a bit of that early drop coming in from Nihow. That's going to cost him a little bit. He does try to redeem himself by using the active ability to get the destruction points, but I think that's already a mistake now on the board, widening the point difference just a bit. Going for the double jump, lands it. Okay, so he does get the massive distance advantage for Nihow.
Yeah, I think that's what you play for when you go for that drop. It's not necessarily a mistake, although the point differential that we've gotten from that, it's not completely clear whether it's better or not. And this is the same build that we saw in the previous map coming in from Oculus, where you save the extra charge as well with that distance, although it just got used.
Yeah, and now Jung-Ho making sure that he stays clean of destruction as well. So he's already gotten a big part of the benefit he gets from the blessing of his magic candy. But we saw both Nihow and the other player here in the group going for that blast mode. You're trying to maximize all the jellies you can get as you go for the destruction and you get that blast. So we'll have to see if he can slowly close the gap as he's trying to do. We see the score slowly inching forward here for Nihow.
Getting closer and closer, a 3 million point difference at this stage in the map. It's not that significant. So they actually missed that bear jelly.
Yeah, a giant yellow bear jelly missed as well. Nihow might be getting a little bit nervous, making mistakes he doesn't need to, but I think he realizes he has to play perfectly to maximize everything. And guess what? He doesn't even have an extra charge over Jung-Ho, so he's not going to have maybe an extra blast mode to try to get more points.
Yeah, it's not exactly the same build that we saw out of Oculus. In fact, both using the ability at the exact same moment right here. They have the combo perfectly lined up.
I think this might be it. There's only so many more opportunities that you're going to have. It might just come down to that extra distance that Nihow had on the relay, but I don't know if it's enough to close a near 10 million point difference. And on the last second, just a bit further, just a couple more jellies, but it's still a 5 million point lead for Jung-Ho as he will secure his spot to move on to the semifinals of the Plains region.
Jung-Ho on the left side, on the right, it is Ji-Sung-Jin. Turn on stage. It can be so tricky for a lot of these young players coming into the main stage for the very first time, but excited to see what they bring to the table.
Yeah, Pelanar is going to be up top there with the 4 characters to his ID, Ji-Sung-Jin on the bottom of your screens. So far, I mean, all nice and clean. It's really going to come down to, you know, the first use of the skill. Now the blast mode as well cleans up all the Lotus Gem jellies on both sides.
Yeah, Pelanar, you look a little bit nervous there to start things out, but hey, he's been perfect so far in the early stages here on below the lilies.
Yeah, and now Ji-Sung-Jin going to be able to make sure that he pops all of the obstacles, both of them securing all of the Lotus Gem jellies around the toads here.
Very easy drops, just making sure that you confirm every single Lotus Gem jelly is key, because you really don't want to be going into the later stages of this map with any kind of deficit.
One being missed by Ji-Sung-Jin there, so that starts to keep him a little bit behind, but it's not too far of a difference. It's still right around 100K, so literally just one Lotus Gem jelly difference right now.
On this map, 100,000 bonus points for those Lotus Gems, so they are everything here for both these players as they're able to navigate the double jump successfully here.
Missed out on one of the obstacles for Ji-Sung-Jin as well, and that's where a big point difference starts to come through. I think maybe 2. He missed one in the start of that skill usage with the spinach cookie, and then the very last spike on the cogwheel, so that cost him a bit. Of course, we did see Ji-Sung-Jin also going for the pink bear jellies for his magic candy blessing, so he's already tried to use a lot of that in the early portion here to try to catch up. I don't know how much more he's going to have to be able to maximize that blessing here.
Losing those destruction points in the early stage is so critical here. Usually on Beneath the Lilies, it's about a 1 million point difference determining who wins and who loses. A destruction point, especially early on, it is so impactful. Now, we are getting to the lily pad stage. A lot of players, they don't play too greedily. They like to skip just one Lotus Gem. Ji-Sung-Jin in this situation, do you try and greed for it? It seems like he actually is. He's going for every single one. Is he going to be able to get it? Wow,
nice,
what a perfect run.
Yeah, Pelanar did choose to skip out on one and try to secure some of the other basic jellies. And Ji-Sung-Jin going for the Lotus Gems, but it's still not going to be enough just yet to bring him in contention.
Very impressive by Ji-Sung-Jin, just doing any damage he possibly can, trying to close the distance. Oh, he does miss one Lotus Gem there.
Oh man, it's just not helping him now, going for the drop, and both of them nice and clean. And we will go towards the end. Can you get the nice double jump on the relay? Both of them ending right at the same exact spot.
Yeah, so distance not going to be a factor here, or at least not in the first stage. We do have the handoff coming in. new Cookie here on the table, and now as we size up, big jump coming in. Ooh,
Oh!
one Lotus Gem.
But that's going to be from the side of Jisung Jin, who's already behind. So that hurts a little bit. It's not a massive mishap, but it does add up as he's in a position where he has to try to catch up.
Yeah, as Jisung Jin, you're hoping that it's Pyonghwa Nara who makes these mistakes and that you actually nail everything so you can close the distance, but instead that lead compounding right now. Pyonghwa getting further and further ahead. Another big jump stage right here, gets every single Lotus Gem. Both sides actually getting every single one.
Yeah, and that just means that Pelanar Nara continues to stay ahead here as we near towards the very last portions of this run with the Ion Robot Cookie. Both of them getting that nice drop. Jisung still missing out on one or two basic jellies, the bear jellies, things like that. Oh!
Another Lotus Gem gets missed there by Jisung Jin.
Yeah.
It's so painful.
It's just, they add up one at a time. I mean, he's able to catch up just a little bit overall since the very beginning. Both of them going for the drop just in time for the transformation to try to maximize all the jellies, but I just don't think it's going to be enough. Let's see if he can still maximize all the Lotus Gems, and both of them will get the double jump timed at the very end. But Pyonghwa Nara wasn't quite sure if he secures it. Oh, wow, okay.
Oh, that's awesome.
Powerful enough that it just shakes the entire headset off his head.
Woo.
I love to see it.
Dude, he's so excited.
This energy is so sick.
Play on the left, Kukushi on the right side, and determination. Man proposes, God disposes. Wow, spitting bars.
Yeah, okay.
Is Kukushi here.
That's first showings here in the Plains region. Play on the top screen, Kukushi on the bottom screen as well. Both of these players actually saying that they've spent a bit more time practicing the other map, Boiling Stock Village, as we already see just a small alphabet jelly being missed there from Kukushi, so a bit of a difference on the points already.
Yeah, those alphabet jellies usually not too consequential, so we'll see if that comes back to bite him. We have a very close match as possible, but wow, two Lotus Gems
being missed by Pled. That is pretty big, and like you said, the alphabet jelly, sure, that might matter if everyone plays perfectly, but that one mistake on the Lotus Gems, that's what's going to swing the scores.
That's pretty insane, actually. You already missed that so early. I mean, of course, it's hard to do it when you have that speed boost, but in any case, gotta absolutely lock in right now. Both players navigating the toads very well, able to catch every single one on these small drops down in. And, oh, one more missed actually there for play. You can see him shaking his head.
Yeah.
He is not happy with this early game performance.
Yeah, meanwhile, Kukushi will have to wait to see the update here. He's going still pretty clean, it looks like. No mistakes made in the meantime. Play will be just focusing on moving forward. He has to lock in. There's still a lot of the race left. It's still under $1 million score difference. There can be a big difference here, but Kukushi, I think, maximizing a bit more the destruction points as well there on that last spike. So for this first phase already, Kukushi feeling pretty good.
Yeah, with the speed boost once more, both players actually able to get every single Lotus Gem this time. So very well played there by Play, being able to catch up a little bit in that regard. Make up for the mistake made earlier. And the drops that are coming in for the second ladder part of this map are very critical. We've seen so many players, not just in Group A today, but also yesterday, struggle to catch every single one.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, because you can miss one or two here in the very first phase, but you miss those on the jumps and the timing on the drops. You're missing, 3, 4, maybe even 5 if you're unlucky. And now going on to Lily Pad. See if Pled tries to greed all of the gems to try to catch up. And it looks like, no, he's going to even play it safer. Leaves behind 2 Lotus Gem jellies.
Whoa.
Kukushi only leaving the minimum 1 to try to reset.
I'm not sure I've seen anybody skip 2.
I mean, it can't be intentional, but Play right now just has to focus on not making any bigger mistakes, right? Doesn't want to drop down or make any crucial blunder that completely ends his run there. And so for now, moving forward, trying to do his best. Both of them leaving one behind on that drop right before the blast. And now here's the double column. It's clean from both sides.
Yeah, both sides able to get every single one, but for Play, you want a little bit more than that. And actually, in terms of distance, I think Kukushi actually a little bit further ahead, isn't he?
Yeah, so he skips out on one Lotus Gem jelly to try to get a little bit extra distance. Not sure if that was strategic or if it's just a bit of a mistake. All right, at least you're going to take all the columns here for Play as well. So Kukushi still keeping ahead as they stay equal.
Yeah, and all right, here we go. Onto this platform. Jump coming in, able to catch every single Lotus Gem. Got to repeat that again a couple more times here with the double jump. Yep, able to catch it.
Yeah, goes for the bear party as well. And both of them securing the next bear party as well. Turns into that tier 3 phase of the Ion Robot Cookie. And we'll see. I don't think there's going to be too much room for error here for Kukushi that could potentially entirely end his run, especially since it looked like he did have a little bit more distance on the relay as well.
Yeah, plus 2 million with more distance. It's got to be a very comfortable position for Kukushi right now. The pressure is basically off.
Yeah, and I like what Kukushi's kind of doing. Not sure completely intentional, but he's focusing much more now on just the Lotus Gem jelly. So he leaves behind, you know, 1 or 2 of those small bear jellies, but he's just making sure, hey, I have a 2 million point lead. I just don't want the big burst of Lotus Gem jellies to go in favor of Pleb.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. Okay, these jumps coming in right now. I want to make sure I get every single one. They do skip out on 1 each, and that's going to be Kukushi with a really solid win. Play his mid-game and late game, he was absolutely on point there, keeping tabs with Kukushi, but the early game really coming back to bite him, missing those early Lotus Gems. Take a look at this. Jisung-Jin, even though he just got out of the military service, his best score actually higher here.
Sure,
than Kukushi. Yeah. I mean, we know that he, because of the military service, is probably not.
All right, jumping in with the spinach cookie to begin. Jisung-Jin going to start off a little bit earlier, so we'll keep our eye on him first, as of course he is the one who also kind of has to play catch up here. He's also the one with the pink bear jelly, so we have to make sure that he's not missing any of these in the early phase.
Yeah, and so far pretty good early games on both sides. Maybe missing 1 or 2 of the simple jellies, but they're basic. You don't care about them on this map. You're all about the Lotuses, so keep it simple.
Yeah, and both of them getting all of those Lotus Gem jellies on the blast mode as well, so not an early mistake coming in just yet.
Yeah, actually, Jisung-Jin being perfect thus far.
Yeah, and Jisung-Jin,
all of the Lotus Gems right here over these toads.
Yeah, and the pink bear jellies as well, so he's just trying to maximize the points that he has, trying to make sure that he stays toe-to-toe.
He does miss 1 of the Lotus Gems, though, on the drop right there, so that will lead to a point differential of 300,000 in favor of Kukushi.
Yeah, we'll see if he can maybe try to maximize that on destruction. If he's able to get all the destruction points as well, and Kukushi may be missing out on the common ones that we've seen in the past, that suddenly can flip the table. And here we go, making sure that he gets every. Oh no!
Man, that's painful right there for Jisung-Jin.
But this is what it was that he knew he needed to maximize the destruction points, but that cost him as he wasn't able to get the jump on the final timing. He wanted to maximize the full destruction. Now he's shaken up. He's missing another Lotus Gem jelly as well.
Yeah, that is absolutely huge in this stage of the game. And a player of Kukushi's caliber, it's going to take a miracle for him to be able to come back in this one. I'm really worried about Jisung-Jin.
I mean, let's just say it like it is. When you drop off the map like that, there isn't really any coming back unless your opponent makes a mistake. And you can see it kind of on Kukushi's face. He knows, I just have to not make a mistake.
Yeah, he's nodding. He's got a little bit of a grin right there on his face. I think he's very comfortable with the position right now. He can just play his game. The pressure, honestly, is off here in this map.
Yeah, and he's just going to play it safe. He misses 1 or 2 extra Lotus Gem jellies here. He's not too concerned. Now, of course, you can't be too lax, because if you do make a mistake later on, it's going to go, oh, Jisung-Jin loses out on distance on the jump as well, jumping a bit too early, hits another obstacle, continuing to lose a little bit of that energy.
Yeah, and this competition, at least this map, is pretty much over already. At this point differential, what, 13 million plus? And sometimes going above that. It's so painful, even on the drop. Running out of energy here quite early. It's so painful. Yeah,
I mean, this is all kind of compounding because of the loss of energy, because of the loss of the speed, and so the timings are completely thrown off. This is why all the players are so concerned with all of the timings. He does get a full clean drop here, but unfortunately so does Kukushi, so this is pretty much in the bag, but we'll wait to see if Kukushi goes clean on everything else. As Jisung-Jin, he'll do what he can. It looks like he's trying to regain, and you got to put respect to that, but you can't help but keep looking at the number on the right side. Yeah, I mean, Jisung-Jin, he just finished his military service, man. I think just try and show up, give the best performance you can here in the latter part of this map. It's already perhaps out of reach given what a rough early game it was, falling off the map, taking that damage, losing the energy, losing the points. But so far, you know, ever since that second drop down, he's been looking really good. He's capable of doing a lot better. Yeah, and again, I totally get why it happens, right? You know that you have to min-max everything, so he's trying to get the full slide on that spinach cookie to get the destruction, and then he just misses the timing on the jump. That's why we see some of the players just jumping early, right? Saying, like, whatever, like, skip the destruction, I don't want to make that big mistake. But Jisung-Jin didn't have that leisure. He was on the back foot already. He knew he needed to catch up in points. He knew he needed to catch up, and unfortunately, his run will end a lot earlier than usual, as, of course, lost a lot of the energy. In fact, Kukushi getting a clean Lotus Gem jellies on the very last double jump as well, and still giving respect to his opponent. But I mean, Jisung-Jin kind of in disbelief of the blunder that he had early on in the run as we currently celebrate a second win on the board for Kukushi.
Group B, Nihow is a little bit younger than him, born in 2009 in Group A, but Pyongyang born in 2008, August 7th. All right, the countdown has started. The map is loading up. We got Play on top, Pyongyang on bottom. Big, deep breath there by Pyongyang. He's just getting ready for this map to begin. You know, the funny thing for me is, Choba, he looks so nervous on camera at the start of the maps, but the moment the gameplay actually begins, it feels like he makes no mistakes.
Yeah, I mean, you're just locked in. That's why you're trying to shake off all the nerves ahead of time, it looks like. Both of them just starting off nice and smooth. Pyongyang actually having a small advantage on those destructions early on, but a bit of a mishap on that jump. So Pled also catching up, and now neck and neck between those two once again.
Yeah, ability usage, exactly same timings here as they have the combo down to a T, just getting every single destruction point possible. And those small differences, they might have an impact on the score here in the early game, but it's usually the big moneymaker destruction points that we have later on that are going to be critical. So right here, everybody just kind of warming up, trying to shake off the stress a little bit.
Yeah, and it does look like Pelanar seems a bit more comfortable on some of the very small micros that you can do.
Yellow Bear missed there by Pyongyang actually.
Yeah, but dropping down to maximize the destruction points as well in terms of the timing, so he's going to be able to maximize that last usage, keeping him just a bit in contention.
Yeah, good catch. That is a very smart choice here by Pyongyang. In any case, 100,000 points difference between these two as we continue on. More ability usage is coming in. These combos timed out perfectly, just getting every single destruction points. No jellies really missed there, at least not a consequential amount on either side. And now we come into these drops. A lot of players will miss one bear on these drops. It's hard to get every single one, but both players executing this perfectly. Look at that. Okay, finally now play with a little bit.
Yeah,
Well,
just a bit
holding
of a
armor
difference.
misses, what, 1 or 2 yellow bears in total?
Yeah, but for now, they're still so close. Still around 200,000 difference overall, depending on the sync of the score. So this could really just come down to maybe even the Magic Candy Blessing during the Orange Cookie phase as we near the end. A little bit of that restore on the energy. Moving on to the second area of this run.
Yeah, second area is so scary, so critical here. It's usually where the big mistakes come in. It's where that point differential starts to grow in favor one player over the other.
Yeah, and now just making sure they get all the Bear Party jellies as well. Making sure both of them using the badges at the right time. Pelanar dropping down below to try to get a different angle on that badge, it looks like. Not sure if entirely intentional, but we'll have to keep our eyes on that because it has cost him a little bit on the points.
Yeah, it's an interesting approach. I wonder if he get a little bit more distance with that, perhaps, because he is very yellow bears. And yeah, it does in fact translate into a little bit more distance.
This time he goes for that earlier jump to jump over those to make sure he lands further. So that very end, definitely intentional to get the later relay onto Pelanar. So it looks like he's behind in the points right now, but he is going to have a little bit more extension at the end. Misses out both sides, it looks like, just on 1 or 2 of those meteors dropping down.
Yeah, it's so hard to get every single meteor with the ability usage right here. Even for players at this skill level, it is a very difficult task to do. So being able to get all but 1 or 2, very good as the combos now once more coming in. Wow, very well executed on both sides. It is such an even score right now, Chobra.
Yeah, and Play, of course, going for the extra destruction points, but that blessing is going to start to run out of steam as we near the end, whereas Pelanar consistently trying to just go for the yellow bear jelly bonuses. And that is a massive boost here from Pelanar as he tries to catch up.
Yeah, I think he might have actually taken a little bit of damage. His energy bar is lower right now. And for Pyongyang, because he has that yellow bear set, he's going to be getting those extra points. That distance is going to be so crucial.
And that is just devastating for Play, who seemed like he might have the lead just a little bit to the very end. You can already see a very big difference in the distance that's going to be achievable, and let alone Pelanar already starting off a bit more ahead. Play's run already ending. He knows exactly where it all went wrong as Pelanar continues to move on forward. He's already out of his seat. He doesn't even need the calculation. He's down on his knees.
Wow.
What's next? Which one is it? Okay, he's got more.
Oh my goodness! He blows us all a kiss.
Okay.
It's something that just happens every once in a while, once in a blue moon. Maybe the pressure of being on stage increases the odds of that happening here with everything on the line, with the high stakes of a tournament like this one, but I'm absolutely expecting him to settle in a little bit more now. Yeah, countdown is done. The players have loaded in and let the game begin here once more on Boiling Stock Village. Both these players trying to get a win on the board.
Just staying close to each other right now. No huge differences, but we'll start to see it, especially before you're able to transform back onto the Tiger, where you have to really time these jumps to try to throw the bat.
Oh man, was that a collision for
that
Ji
is
Sung-jin?
a massive collision early on here from Ji Sung-jin. Gets slowed down.
Oh no, that feels so bad. Right here in the early stages too. Usually there isn't too many complications.
Oh, that's a rough one. But again, it's because you have to jump to throw the badge, and you're thinking about sliding below the obstacles. And Ji Sung-jin, he got a little bit extra shaken up afterwards, trying to regain his footing. He's back on course for now. Does get that destruction, so back onto the focus.
I mean, he's playing well since that moment, but it's going to be haunting him for the entire run. And the fact that it happens right at the beginning, Chober, it's going to be haunting him.
But let's
non-stop. I mean,
not to be rude, but we did see Ple mess up with a collision near the end. So Ji Sung-jin, he's got to think about that of like anything can happen in the second half, right? Like you can still catch up. There is an opportunity at any point in any run for the opponent to also mess up.
Yeah, you don't want to be dooming too much. You don't want to be too grim.
Yeah,
all right, these jumps now coming in, on the drops going in. Both sides very well played, actually catching every single one of these yellow bear drills. Okay, I cursed it.
Yeah,
Ji Sung-jin now missing 3 in a row.
Well, of course, it's not going to be the end of the day, considering the big contention will be that collision early on.
Yes.
The real trouble here is obviously Ple could also mess up, but this means that obviously your relay is going to happen earlier, right? Everything now, the timing for everything that you're used to happens earlier, and Ji Sung-jin is going to have to deal with the consequences from that.
That's a very good point. It's not something that you really practice, having a collision early like that, and so you really have to think on your feet a little bit with the timings. It might feel different than what you're used to. It's certainly not going to do what you practiced.
Yeah, and of course the other big difference, like you said, is because when you're at home practicing, you know, you go through a collision, you say, okay, reset, redo, let's get all the way to the end. But Ji Sung-jin right now, he's just going to have to adapt on the fly to the new timings.
Yeah, that energy meter, the countdown's already begun here for Ji Sung-jin as he's going to have to pass the baton on to the second cookie in just a little bit.
He is able to stay on the Tiger, so he tries to catch up just a bit. And the timing works out because of that transformation, and he gets a little bit of that extra jump, so he's able to regain just a bit of distance near that relay.
Yeah, but it really is like a mountain to climb right now. That point differential, 25 million plus, is really Ji Sung-jin, fresh out of military service. He's just trying to play the best game he possibly can.
Yeah, he does catch up a little bit on the extra destruction points, and now all eyes on Ple. It's his to lose. If he doesn't make any mistakes, Ji Sung-jin might be able to catch up a little bit, but it's going to be impossible to catch up the entire 20 million.
Yeah, 20 million is a lot. I think you basically are hoping that Ple has another collision if you want to be able to close that distance, because otherwise the extra time that Ple is going to have as well is going to be compounding that point difference moving forward. As we go through these jumps and the double jumps, very well played on both sides, but my eye is going to be on the combos. We got 3 of these charges back in the bank. Okay, using 2 of them right now, getting some more destruction points on both sides. The same timings there.
Yeah, and just unfortunately, there's no big change on the point difference. Ji Sung-jin starting to feel the pressure from that, and Ple just making sure that he doesn't make the same mistakes as he did in that earlier run so far, keeping very safe, goes for the extra use of the skills as well, going for that blast mode, getting the coins. I believe there might have been a bear party jelly being missed as well once again from Ji Sung-jin, but again, it just comes down to that first blunder, and I don't think Ple is giving him the time of day. We're down to the last 3 seconds of the run, and Ji Sung-jin run ends there, and Ple will keep the lead. No big mistakes made, and that is sometimes all it takes to get your first victory here in the preliminaries.
Yeah, being able to navigate without taking any damage is Ple, as the obstacles really have been an issue for players here.
Pelanar also kind of saying that, all right, Kukushi, I didn't get to play against you last year at the CookieRun tournament at the Olympics, so I'm kind of happy to take that chance here. I'll beat you here in the preliminaries, now taking his chance to go up against a strong opponent.
All right, the countdown has started. The map is loading in. We got Kukushi on top, Jung-Ho on bottom.
Now locked in, Pelanar back into the locked in mode. No emoting yet until the very end of the race.
so curious what it's going to be if we get it. But first, you got to win this map. Of course, both these guys, they have qualified for that round of 4 for the semifinals today.
Oh, and look at this. Both of them just so... The points aren't even phased.
Yeah.
They're staying at 10,000 exactly as we get equal timings. Now slight differences on the jumps and the destructions, but Pelanar is trying to stay ahead, just getting slightly better timings, getting 1 or 2 more objects.
Yeah, interesting optimized for the objects right here. Actually, I like that there for Pelanar. That's going to give him a slight edge here as we move on to later parts of this map. Some more ability activation now coming in, timed out perfectly. Mirrored builds on both sides.
And now back down onto your feet. Have 3 charges, as you can see, on top of the character, the Cookie's head there. Now down to 2, uses 1 more right before the drop to use it to destroy as many objects as possible. And that keeps Pelanar just a bit ahead, still right around the 1 million mark.
Yeah, and watching them both play, and really they're not missing basically anything at this point. It's very close. 500,000 on a simpler map might feel like a lot, but here with so many more points left at stake, especially as we get more into the destruction point section of this map later on, this is a really close one. Now on these drops, both these players able to get every single one of those jellies. Can we do it? Sometimes you miss one, but they've been perfect again, Chobra.
Yeah, and going for all the destruction as well. One giant yellow bear jelly being missed from Kukushi, and that is not good news as he's already just a bit behind. But hey, okay, shaking his head, he knows that he's not going to get his top score, but he was boasting about it. I'm curious if he has a little bit more to show towards the later parts as now Pelanar continues to go far ahead in the points.
Pelanar also did miss a couple of those yellow bear jellies, so it's still a very close match, even with those jellies getting missed. Now we're going to move on to the second location here on this map, but this is where the points start to really add up.
Yeah, you can have some differences, right? Are you going for a slight drop to destroy as many of the meteorites as possible? It's both of them going for that jump, both of them making sure that they get the bear jelly parties. Oh, misses the bear jelly party here from Pelanar, but goes for the destruction a little bit. You saw that earlier as well.
I think it's just a different approach to playing the map. I believe when you do that, you're able to get a little bit more distance as you finally run out of energy when you pass the baton. We'll see if that is going to translate into more distance. In fact, it's actually just about the same here.
Yeah, I mean, that one, you just have to jump right at the edge of the platform, and both of them able to land that. But Pelanar back up in contention, and now we're on to the orange cookie. Both of them going for the yellow bear jelly, so the destruction, you just want to be clean, but it's not going to be a jackpot for either player.
Yeah, it's so hard to get everything. I don't even know if it's possible because we haven't seen a player get every single destruction point with that ability usage here. It really is a skill check. And Kukushi currently does have the lead of about 2 million. Can he maintain that? Okay, more ability usage coming in. Both getting used at the exact same time. I think both getting the exact same number of destruction points.
Ooh, a rainbow bear jelly being missed by Kukushi, but for now still trying to stay ahead with a massive lead.
Yeah, Jong-Ho actually saved one of the ability activations. So that's why the point differential just suddenly ballooned right there. He hasn't used one of these destructions just yet. He's trying to save it to get more points later. Now, will that plan work? Or will Kukushi be able to close this one out?
I mean, we've seen this earlier, though. There's not too many opportunities where you can get a giant jackpot. Now already capped out at 3 uses. Pelanar, he's going to have to use it if he wants to make sure that he gets an advantage, because now Kukushi, in fact, using it right away to just burst forward, and Pelanar is going to use it at the same exact timing. Still has 1 extra charge on that skill, but I don't know if it's enough. It brings him back down into range, but now down to 3 million, 2 million in this last phase. It's going to come down to that countdown, but I think the gap might just be too big for Pelanar to catch up, and it's going to be Kukushi leading with 2 million points. Not able to reach the 861, but ends up with the 858.
Yeah, wow. 4 players as the bracket here has been drawn. That is Jung-Ho versus Pyeonghwan, the #1 seed from Group A versus the #2 seed of Group B. And Chris versus Kukushi for the second semifinal match. Again, the #1 seed versus the #2 seed.
If I win, I'll strike a pose. I think you've done more than 1 pose. But on the other side, the funny part is Jung-Ho's like, I don't know if I'll do anything if I win.
Who is going to be winning here on Terrifying Bear Jelly Forest?
And now starting off, of course, with the Schneeball. You want to jump to make sure that you're getting all your points. But as you're jumping, you have to calculate when you're jumping in conjunction with the rest of it.
Also got to be very careful as we move further about not getting those bitter bear jellies.
Yeah, and both of them going for the strategy to drop down and just get all of the points while you come up with the rescue.
Nice little single jump coming in. Actually, double jump right there coming in from Jung-Ho. I wonder if that's to get maybe a little bit more distance, but in any case.
First one? Okay, both of them. Yeah, thread the needle, get the extra yellow bear jellies with the party as well. So getting the maximum points possible so far.
Yeah.
Oh,
man, so close there was Jung-Ho. Oh, did he hit one?
No, he ate both, but it's the bitter bear jelly later on, and he's going to miss out on so many. And now that puts him just a bit behind. Back and forth now between the two, but we'll have to keep tabs as there is a little bit of desync in terms of the order here. We'll have to see if Pelanar can redeem that.
Yeah, it's so hard to avoid those bitter bear jellies because they're just interwoven with all of the big points on this map. You see the double jump coming in. Well done there by Pelanar. Jung-Ho on top doing the same thing, also dodging. The shurikens there with a slide, and a big double jump, getting every single bear jelly, and now under their skill activation. Let's get that goal.
Yeah, but Pelanar, I believe, still should be in the lead, even if the score has to keep updating. He's looking pretty strong, so making sure that he's maximizing all the other points he can get, so he's not too shaken just yet.
Yeah, luckily that hitter ball came in at a moment where there weren't too many jellies, so it wasn't the absolute end of the world. I think the point difference might have been like 500K from hitting that party, and in any case, things have equalized right now as Jung-Ho with the speed boost can be able to catch every single one of these yellow bear jellies. Looks like Jung-Ho on bottom do the exact same.
Yeah, neither missing out. Oh, Pelanar skipping out on the first Schneeball there, now hitting it a bit later to get those points.
Yeah, kind of an interesting situation right there as it looks like running out of energy at basically the exact same time.
And now moving on to the Cream Puff Cookie.
Cream Puff Cookie here going to be the selection coming in as the second one, getting those Conjured Desert Jellies.
Yeah, neither one. Oh, Jung-Ho still able to thread the needle. Same thing for Pelanar. So we're not seeing any big blunders in terms of the bear jelly parties. I'm able to jump over that extra set of the bitter bear jelly party as well. So close down to about just 100,000 points back and forth. This could be anybody's run. Just one mistake towards the end of the run could spell defeat here in the very first map.
Yeah, you got to absolutely lock in this moment. Okay, bitter bear jelly dodged again here by putting on bottom. And the star jellies coming in.
Okay, these don't matter though because we're not seeing the extra jellies come on top. So Pelanar just going for the safety, but he's already behind in points. He's gonna have to try to catch up, and he's not going to be able to get the extra distance. Jung-Ho closes things out with just an edge as he takes the first win.
All right, the countdown is done. Jung-Ho is on top, Jung-Ho is on bottom. Both players getting ready for this map. It's a tricky one with a 300 jump limit.
Yeah, this is always going to be a very, very tricky one. Of course, there's also the bamboo leaves, but then you got to think about the pomegranate jellies as well and the drops. So we'll keep our eyes on it. Now, yesterday we had one of the players missing out on some of the early jumps. Oh, collects all of the bamboo leaves right from the get-go here from Pelanar. That puts him in a big lead.
I think Jung-Ho has literally missed one jelly thus far, and that is the difference in terms of score.
Oh, but another bunch of bamboo leaves missed from Jung-Ho as well. I mean, Pelanar already looks like he selected the right map. He's adapted very well, using these jumps right in the perfect place to collect all the bamboo leaf jellies that are falling.
It's kind of surprising here from Jung-Ho, and it makes me wonder if this is actually a decision to try and save that jump as a resource. Maybe there's a play that he is saving for, but it's concerning because the point differential from all these leaves, it's really starting to balloon here for Jung-Ho.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, we got to wait to see to the very end, but I don't think it's so much saving as Jung-Ho trying to make sure he doesn't panic spam to try to collect the bamboo leaves, but he's already in a course where he's missing a lot of them. Now, this time he collects most of them, but look at the point difference. It has just ballooned out of control as Pelanar has consistently gotten, 2, 3, 4 extra bamboo leaves again at every point of the turn where he gets rid of those opponents.
Yeah, and he even used the same number of jumps as Jung-Ho in that situation. It's only, 2 more jumps here right now for Jung-Ho? I don't think that's enough resources to make up a 2 million point gap.
No, I don't think
so many get missed again.
Yeah,
that was
another
6.
3. But, I mean, let's focus on Pelanar, though. Jung-Ho missing this many is more so the normal result, right? Because you don't know how they're going to fall. They're falling in the same pattern for both of these players on screen, but again, like I've explained, they don't know what it looks like coming into the match because it's different every time. And Pelanar, the fact that he's adapting this well, going into it, and collecting pretty much every single bamboo leaf jelly is insane.
Yeah, even the more basic jellies, it feels like he's getting pretty much every single one, where Jung-Ho with the jumps, it feels like he's missing one or two every now and then.
Okay, that was a big bunch that was missed from Pelanar, but it shouldn't be too bad. He's still so far in, and he's there. He's able to collect now off of the relay. So that last bunch, a little bit calculated from Pelanar. The first one before that, I mean, it's just a couple extra that he's not too concerned about.
And first magic trick coming in. There are some cards right there here for Pyonghwa. And we'll see what Jung-Ho's going to do to try and close this distance. It isn't that big of a gap. I feel like just one mistake might be enough.
But he catches up as Pelanar's missed out on a lot of the jellies after you've swapped onto the second cookie here.
Look at that, the lead all the way down. Actually, no, Jung-Ho is in the lead now by 2 million points, my goodness.
So the second to last that he missed out while he was still on the pomegranate jelly starting to cost Pelanar, and then he got a little bit too lax with a lot of these other bear jellies and basic jellies that is costing. He needs to collect as many bamboo leaf jellies, but it's just about the same number. He can't catch up anymore.
Well, he caught all of those. That might be enough. It's so close. Okay, a 400,000 point difference right now. Another kill confirmed. He gets every single one. Two more get missed by Jung-Ho.
To be enough.
Wow.
Oh no.
What a comeback by Jung-Ho. He's going to be the first player from the Plains region to book his ticket into that grand final in October.
Now that we're not going to see the emotes anymore, now I want to know, who are you thanking in your winning speech? Okay, I need this guy to go all the way to the finals so we find out who he needs to thank.
All right, the map is loaded in. It's going to be Chris on top, Kukushi here on bottom. Only 300 jumps to play with. How are those bamboo leaves going to fall? Who's going to get that early lead?
All right, and making sure you collect as many of these early jellies.
Remarkably close here early on. Just 1 or 2 jelly difference.
Yep, getting all of those, and nice clean on the bamboo leaves for the first set.
Yeah, both players able to catch every single bamboo leaf. Second set coming in. Well done on both sides again.
Still all equal so far. Okay, now we start to see a bit of a difference. 1 or 2 bamboo leaf jellies missed out from Chris.
Yeah, it's looking very good on both sides, though. All right. She once more getting again, and
but we've
Chris
seen
-2.
Exactly. He still misses a couple more, but we've seen that it can flip in the later half of this entire run. So let's keep our eyes on it. So far, though, Kukushi looks very locked in and being able to respond to exactly how these bamboo leaf jellies are falling.
Yeah, both players missing a couple leaves there with that. And now Chris dropping only 1. The the lead is growing right now for Kukushi. I feel like he's been so collected.
Yes, exactly. And he's always making sure he waits till the last minute to get the full drop to pick up some of those bamboo leaf jellies that are dropping earlier, whereas Chris is going for a bit of a safer route, just saying, hey, I just want to head for the main body of the bamboo leaf jellies. Okay, we're still going to be quite equal here. Chris just keeping up still at that 10 million range mark.
Yeah, but another leaf missed there by Chris. Okay, -5 right there on that patch. There for Kukushi. That's going to give a bit of a chance here for Chris to start to close the distance. You got to be so clutch with these. But many leaves keep getting missed. I mean, the spawns just seem so hard right now.
Yeah, this one's definitely a bit of a harder run, it looks like, than the previous matchup, and that's what makes this map so difficult. But both players being calm and collected. Oh, a huge bunch, and Kukushi collects all of them.
Wow.
Nice and clean.
I can't believe he got every single one. I mean, he has used, what, 2 more jumps than his opponent, but that is well worth an 18 million point lead right now, with these jumps also getting just a couple more of these basic jellies. Next connection coming in. He is going to miss 4 of those leaves, deciding not to spend the jumps on that one. Seems like Chris doing a little bit better in this section on those jumps.
Yep, still collects all of them on the relay here for Kukushi and makes sure that he drops down all the way to collect the big bunch as well. Still 17 million ahead. And if you weren't able to flip it there on the relay, I think Chris is starting to run out of options here on the first map.
I mean, there was a couple instances where the bamboo leaves fall, and Chris is finally now doing a little bit better, but Kukushi once more basically perfect here on the bottom screen. The jumps also equalizing. It's what, 1 or 2 jump difference again, but that lead, it's even grown. We're up to 17 million plus now, Chobra.
Yeah, and you see that because he's so heavy in the lead. Compared to the earlier parts on that last bunch with the 4 of them being popped into bamboo leaf jellies, Kukushi doesn't drop that far below. He just says, all right, now I just have to play safe. I have to make sure I'm not losing out on anything crazy big, and he still gets more bamboo leaf jellies, now expanding it back up to nearly 20 million once again.
Yeah, that was another 5 leaves or so in the favor of Kukushi. It feels like basically every drop, the average is 3 or 4 more leaves going in the advantage of Kukushi, and that was just a clinic on how to play a map, which, frankly, in my opinion, had some very difficult spawns in terms of how the bamboo leaves fell. The reactions there. It didn't even use that many more jumps. It was, what, 1 or 2 more in the early and the mid game. Match 2 of this best of 3. Chris spawning on top, Kukushi on bottom as the map has loaded in. Of course, with the Cookie start, gotta be hitting that gold gem here right at the beginning, and those first Bitter Bears, they're coming down in just a moment.
Yeah, so the Schneeball starting off first. Of course, nothing too worried here. Both of them going for the drop and the rescue to come back up all the way up to the Yellow Bear Jelly Party.
Yeah, pretty easy jumps right here. Double jumps to get those jellies while avoiding the Bitter Bears on bottom, but it will get tricky here in just a moment. This one's a hard one to get in between these two.
Yeah, both of them get it. Now, a couple of those Yellow Bear Jellies being left behind, that can make a bit of a difference, but Kukushi currently just a bit ahead.
And also timing that jump after the slide and the double jump right there. Very well done on both sides, avoiding the Bitter Bears.
Yeah, but I believe Chris kind of missing out on a lot of those. Might have actually eaten the second Bitter Bear Jelly Party that's already mixed in. We saw that from Pelanar earlier as well, because we're already seeing a 1,000,000-point difference now.
Oh yeah, he must have then, right? It's either that or he missed a big swell of Yellow Bear Jellies. In any case, the ball right now is in his court to try and make something happen. Kukushi, he just needs to defend.
Yeah, Kukushi just has to play it safe, make sure you don't make mistakes, whereas Chris, he's gonna have to try to min-max. But the thing is during this phase, it's not just about min-maxing. Everyone just has to do the same thing. Going for it.
Yeah,
and the jump. And Kukushi actually eats one of those Bitter Bear Jelly Parties earlier on as he was going for the gold fossil, and he sees it. You see it on the camera. He misses out on so many points. Oh, the thumbs up from Chris takes the hand off the phone.
Oh, what a moment.
We're not done with the run yet.
Wow, he is so happy. He knows exactly what happened. The moment that he sees that score dip in his favor, my goodness, the defense just simply was not there for Kukushi. These things, they are like landmines. They are so hard to avoid. You can't afford any more mistakes right now as Kukushi.
Yeah, and eventually gets that third hit as well. Collects him and gets the double jump. So the relay still going to happen at the same time, but Kukushi's got a lot of ground to cover.
All right, double jump now over these Bitter Bear Jellies. Chris able to do it easily, as is Kukushi, while still maximizing their scores.
Yep, Kukushi on that bottom side of your screen, threading the needle, just making sure that he's not falling any further behind.
Yeah, I gotta thread the needle once more with this double jump. Indeed, he's able to do it, but still that 5,000,000 point differential, it is so big right now.
Yeah, again, you kind of have to hope that your opponents are going to give you an edge to try to catch back up, because otherwise there isn't much room to do anything on your own, because this map is all about just maximizing at all times. There isn't any crazy build to min-max back and forth.
Yeah, more Bitter Bears falling now from the top of the screen. Oh no, he got another one.
This one's okay though. This is that phase where you're not going to transform any further ones, but that also means that we're near the end, and that means Kukushi just doesn't have an opportunity to catch up. And Chris, even with the leisure to give us a thumbs up in the middle of the run, secures map number 2 and will bring us to the last map in the semifinal.
And it is time for us to go.
All right, starting off, of course, in that bat form, getting all the pass-throughs that you can. And a little bit of an edge in that early section here for Kukushi.
Yeah, just the slightest advantage here for Kukushi as the zip lines are coming into play, making sure you jump up, getting all of those star jellies. Oh, was there a mistake?
So many missed from Chris. In fact, I think 2 or 3 even. One of them even being a Rainbow Star Jelly. So this is going to be a bit of a back foot here for Chris. You can see it on his camera. He's just kind of chuckling. But guess what? You get more obstacles, you might be able to get it. But another Star Jelly, I don't think he was able to vacuum that in during the transformation here.
Ooh,
so
another.
the gap, yeah, it just continues to get worse and worse here for Chris.
Yeah, it's a very mechanically challenging map. It is so easy to miss these star jellies, especially when you're moving at a high speed. All right, big size coming in. Single jumps also coming in, able to collect all of these jellies. Going very well right now for Kukushi, but Chris, I have to give him props, man. Ever since those early mistakes, he has locked in. He's doing much better now.
Yeah, and now Kukushi, knowing that he has the lead, just has to play it a bit safer. Keep her eyes on both screens as they fly through.
Every single star jelly collected right there on both sides. We need to make sure that you either defuse or avoid these obstacles, because even one collision, losing energy on a map like this one with so much energy at stake, being the vampire jelly, being the skating jelly, it's very risky. And look at these slides, by the way. The single jumps also paired in.
Yeah, the Vampire Cookie just has to try to stay alive as much as possible. And for now, Kukushi, once again, back into the bat form. We'll just make sure you're getting all the obstacle pass-throughs on top of all the jellies as well.
Yeah, both players just handling this immaculately right now. No damage coming in despite the high number of obstacles, and the slides, singles, and double jumps all been solid.
Yeah, they're both of them hitting some of these tougher obstacle pass-throughs as well, right at the end of the line of obstacles, you know, dropping down just in time. So it's been good, and Chris, he might be just kicking himself already for some of those early mistakes as it continues to be a consistent 2 million point difference.
And maybe 1 or 2 basic jellies mixed by Kukushi, but that's about it. Besides that, it has just been a perfect run over the past minute and a half. Star jellies collected on both sides with that zip line. Gonna drop down, get all these basic jellies, and now back onto the zip line. It's dead even.
Yeah, gets all the extra jumps as well, just keeping our breaths held here. But I don't see Kukushi giving any margin here for Chris. Now, of course, there is some more to be looked at once we relay over to the Skater Cookie as well. But now using that transform, not having to drop down any earlier as Kukushi continues to keep the lead.
And skill activation, really good right now on both sides. You get some destruction points right there. The jumps come through, back onto the top.
Yeah, and Kukushi not collecting all of the jumps, but still has just enough to get back into it.
Very well navigated right now, dropping down and then the double jump to get back onto the zip line.
Okay, we'll be Kukushi pretty happy with this phase. He's nodding to himself saying, okay, I'm pretty confident with where we're at as we now get ready to relay over to the Skater Cookie. We're gonna have one last transform, just a little bit of extra health to come through.
Yeah, and is either player gonna get more distance? I feel like no, they actually stop at the exact same location. So Skater Cookie now coming out a little bit faster here. You gotta be very crisp with your timings here.
Yeah, we'll see if we can get a perfect run for the Skater Cookie. Yesterday, it still was lacking just a little bit by the end. A couple of those base jellies being missed out by Kukushi, but he's got a hefty lead.
Yeah, it's really him playing safe. He's been doing this consistently for a while. He'll miss 1 or 2 basic jellies because it's not worth the risk. He knows he has about a 2 million point buffer. Just get the big point earners here as Kukushi, and you will be going to the finals.
Yep.
Oh no, a star jelly missed by Chris.
Yeah, one more here for Chris, so that's a little bit rough. Meanwhile, Kukushi collecting all of them. Both of them just making sure that they are barely moving on to the right zip lines. But I think this might already be it unless Kukushi has a big blunder near the end. Maybe something like a collision. Otherwise, Chris, I don't think he's going to have an opportunity to try to get to the finals.
Yeah, the timings are critical. Jumping and sliding in between all these obstacles. Both players doing it successfully here. But for Chris, a 2.6 million gap he has to get past, but the time is running out. Trover, I think Kukushi might have done it.
And that's going to be it. A 2.4 million lead here for Kukushi as he secures his ticket to the finals of the World Championship, and on top of it, the finals today for the Plains region preliminaries. But that does mean Jung-Ho from the first match and Kukushi from the second match will be moving on to the finals tonight, and of course will return in October as well. Then you lose again and you bring it back, you know, or you win again and you bring it back to one future TVD for a rematch, something like that.
Finals, a best of 5. Each player with 3 lives, but it all starts now. You want to win this first map.
Yep, and just starting off, you know, nice and calm for now. Just a couple hops here and there. Already two jellies being missed here from Jung-Ho. It starts to add up. It doesn't matter even what kind of jelly it is, because all of them will start to add up with 55k extra points for every single jelly collected.
Oh yeah, we're going to have some high scores on this one for sure. You want to make sure that you connect with everything as possible. Okay, sliding under this. Quickly standing up to make sure you get that extra jelly as well. And man, both players navigating this super well. I feel like on that jump, Jung-Ho might have gotten a slight edge. He might be closing the distance a little bit, but still 700k point gap.
Yeah, it does look like Kukushi feels pretty confident in his build as well, taking slightly different timings on the jumps, but at the end of the day, the big ones, it's going to be the same result. It's just about how many small spare jellies you're leaving behind so far. No collisions, no big mishaps just yet on either side.
No, even on these drops, which might look very simple, but at this speed are actually very hard to pull off. Both players have been able to do it immaculately thus far.
Yeah, and we're just going to see Kukushi continue to keep that lead at just about 800k. Making sure sure he collects that energy restore as well. But he's missed a lot of jellies there in the back, so he drops down a little bit, but then he catches up with the big burst of jellies just a little bit behind in the sink as well.
Yeah, now here come the snowballs. Got to dodge these projectiles with single jumps, double jumps. It is so close. Oh my goodness,
Oof.
bobbing and weaving through every single shot, even the drop down. Very well done, but I think Jung-Ho might have missed some on that column.
Yes, yeah, he doesn't get the full drop, whereas Kukushi makes it absolutely clean in between the snowballs, so that keeps him back in the lead, a little bit over 1,000,000 points. But I gotta say, with all the jellies giving you so many bonuses, 1,000,000 might not be safe enough.
Yeah, it's all about just playing this perfectly, not making any mistakes. It's a marathon on this map. It might feel short because of this speed, but you gotta think about dodging every single one of these. Okay, they get all of them. It seems like a little bit more distance right now here on Jung-Ho.
Yeah, that might be the difference maker as well, because again, if you just get even a couple more basic jellies, that gives you a couple 100,000 in the grand scheme of things with the extra bonus points.
Drops on the columns, very solid on both sides still. Also sliding under that ice cream cone. You have to dodge these big snowballs that are kind of growing up over here. And no!
A collision up top!
Oh.
And that might cost him. He had a little bit extra distance on the relay, but that just completely nullifies it.
Man, Jung-Ho, in the interview before this tournament, he said that he's confident in his control on this map, but already here we see the collision coming in, and now that lead all the way up to 2,000,000 here. Kukushi plus that extra energy.
Yeah, I mean, Kukushi even missed a giant star jelly here before coming into the slide, and it's still not going to cost him too much. And it just goes to show that it's the big mistakes that you don't want to make, rather than min-maxing all the way to perfection.
And the timing is excellent right now, and Jung-Ho, he's trying his best to close the distance after that mishap earlier with lower energy. Maybe Kukushi makes some kind of mistake and that gives him a shot to get in it, but so far Kukushi standing strong.
Yeah, I mean, look at this, just weaving in between, making sure he gets all the restore, all the bigger jellies as well. And if he misses just a couple, he doesn't quite mind, as he's still just about in the lead, 1 to 2,000,000 total as the score syncs up. Going towards the later parts here, Kukushi missing out on a couple extra. He's gonna have to make sure he catches back up. Misses out on a lot actually towards the end there. An early drop, but it's not going to matter, I don't think, as we see the run ending just a bit too early for Jung-Ho. Kukushi not concerned as he wraps it up with a big lead in the end.
Yeah, Kukushi able to close it out.
And we're off to the races, getting his fingers warmed up here for Kukushi as we already go through with the jumps. Some extra destruction coming in from Jung-Ho there early on, but still all the jellies being collected here from Kukushi, just keeping him barely behind.
Yeah, every single simple jelly collected there by Jung-Ho as well. 1 missed, actually 4 missed right there by Kukushi, so some early problems here.
Yeah, Kukushi, I mean, I gotta imagine that most of this is just to make sure he stays in the pattern, he doesn't get messed up, right, just because he tries to panic jump or collect a couple more, but he is gonna realize he's quite far behind. You see him cocking his head a little bit, and he's known that, okay, I've made too many small mistakes, and they're starting to add up, because Jung-Ho, he even greeted for a couple of those early destruction points as well.
Yeah, more destruction points coming in here with the skill activation. Every single simple jelly. No, actually 2 missed on bottom, 3 missed on top right there, as now we go into the super fair jellies.
Yeah, we'll see. Of course, this, you don't want to miss out on these, as they're giving the big bonuses as well. This could be the mistake that costs Jung-Ho if he misses out on too much, but it does look like he's just going to be able to keep his lead, and it's quite healthy for the time being. Kukushi, it's all on him to make sure that he greets for as many points as possible. Both of them lining up with their skills to make sure they get all the destruction points.
Yeah, but the gap at only 1,000,000, it's not that big. Oh man, a big bear gets missed right there by Kukushi.
Yeah, but these, he's still threading the needle. Okay, back in it. You have no time to regret the decisions you've made so far on this map. You gotta keep jumping, making sure you're collecting everything as much as possible.
Yeah, the basics almost equal right there in terms of collection, as it really might come down to these big bears. Will any of them get missed in this next stage? So far, single jump, double jump coming in. Both players perfect for the past couple of seconds. Even getting that rainbow on top, and 2 missed by Kukushi.
And it just keeps adding up. When you think he finally has a chance, he starts to fall behind again. Kukushi just can't catch a break so far here on One Future TBD.
Yeah, Jung-Ho really fighting back. The plan of choosing this as map number 2 absolutely paying off here in the early stages.
Yeah, and Jung-Ho looks locked in. He knows that even with this lead, he doesn't want to mess up again. There's so much at stake here as you're trying to stay afloat in the air, and Jung-Ho will want to make sure that he wins confidently all the way to the end of the run.
Yeah, Pink Chocolate's ability there, clearing the path for both players. Getting rid of those obstacles. Now the jump's coming through. Got to make sure to collect absolutely everything here. It's really tricky with the combination of skill activations plus the jumps. Bobbing and weaving, going up, going down to the bottom, make sure you get the simple jellies and the big jellies.
But right there, throughout the cogwheels, we saw Kukushi trying to catch up with a lot of the destruction points. So he's staying afloat, trying to actually close the gap a little bit.
Yeah, both players missing one of these bear jellies. Of course, it's hard to get absolutely everything in a situation like that one.
Yeah, and now back to the giant bear jellies, both of them staying afloat. Oh, more destruction missed here from Kukushi, so that's going to cost him a little bit. Brings the gap back to 3 million, but it keeps fluctuating. Kukushi might have a couple more chances here.
Yeah, luckily the destruction points for each individual cog isn't that high. It's more going to be about the bears. You don't want to miss any of them here in this situation. Advancing forward, both players are perfect, and now the twins coming out.
And now we'll continue to go on forward. Even here, both of them selecting for the Destruction Blessing on their Magic Candy. It's not going to be as frequent, but okay, lining up with the top line here for Kukushi, but it's just not going to be enough to bring him back in line.
2 million gap just persisting over the past couple of minutes. Right now, we're already 3.5 minutes into this level. It has been a marathon on both sides, but Kukushi just cannot find any angle to close the gap.
I don't know if he's going to get many more chances here. Back down to 2 million. It just keeps on fluctuating. But unless Jung-Ho has a bit of a blunder himself, it does look like Jung-Ho should be able to keep the lead. Nearing the later parts here of this run.
We're getting closer and closer to the finish right now. All those bear jellies collected, as are these.
Yeah, well done from both, taking the same line right in tandem with the spawn here from the Chest Choco cookies.
Are you ready? Finals coming in right now, still a 2 million point gap. Got to go through all these cogs. Very tricky movement right here.
And trying to get a little bit more in the destruction here with the Rook being spawned in. And I don't think it's going to be enough. One last shot here, trying to destroy as many as possible. It brings him back a little bit. But right there at the end, it's still a 1.8 million lead here for Jung-Ho as he's able to tie things up. Kukushi once again on the bottom side of your screens.
Jung-Ho on top. So we're starting pretty early. Kukushi perfect thus far. Not missing a single jelly unless I'm mistaken. I think Jung-Ho had just one there in the very early stages.
Yeah, but another miss here for Kukushi, so it just keeps on going back and forth. By
no, again! Again, this time even earlier, Jung-Ho takes damage.
Oh no, oh no. Does the nightmare return for Jung-Ho? He's chuckling, but he has to stay focused.
Yeah, I mean, the map, it's so long. There are so many dangerous obstacles that it's possible Kukushi also fumbles this at some point. It's possible that he also takes damage, and then suddenly things are even. You have to be holding out for that here as Jung-Ho.
But you got to imagine for Jung-Ho, now you have to go through the entire rest of the map wondering if you'll ever get that chance to catch up, because otherwise, just purely because of energy and the fact that it's all bonus points for all jellies on this map, you know you're going to lose.
Yeah, and I'm just looking at that energy bar. It was so much damage done there to Jung-Ho. He is really feeling the pain. I can't even imagine. I'm just thinking about what the final score is going to be in terms of difference if Kukushi is able to successfully move through the rest of the map without taking any damage.
Yeah, here we go as the snowballs fly through. Another chance that Jung-Ho might have is if Kukushi maybe tries to greed a little bit too much, weaving through these snowballs as we see both of them navigating them pretty well, and the full clean drop for Kukushi.
Yeah, dropping onto the column, getting every single jelly, and then sliding to dodge the projectile. Well played on both sides. And honestly, for Kukushi, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw his score on the right side start to dip and get a little bit lower here than Jung-Ho, because you don't have to risk anything in a moment like this one. Play it as safe as possible. As long as you don't hit any obstacles, you will win.
Yeah, but he doesn't know that for sure just yet, right? We see it here, but we're not going to be entirely confident as Jung-Ho now boosts forward, but you do see that his relay came forward first, so Kukushi should be now cognizant of the fact that he has more energy and a little bit more distance in the bank.
Now let's see how safe he's going to play coming in, because this game basically in the bag unless we have one of those critical missteps.
Yeah, now Jung-Ho, I mean, the best he can do is just play his best game. I hope that Kukushi gives him an opportunity, a blunder on his side to bring things back to equal.
All right, continuing on the later stages, we're in the twilight of this map, and that lead at 14 million is only going to get bigger when Jung-Ho runs out of energy again. Thus far, Kukushi been able to deal with every single obstacle successfully. He might be missing a jelly here and there. We've seen that over the course of the entire run, but just the tenacity to not get injured once. That plan of survival, that strategy of just staying alive, it's working.
Yeah, I mean, we saw this in that previous run as
Oh,
well.
no.
Oh,
Was that another hit?
It looked like it.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, Jung-Ho, I mean, look at the energy bar. He's going to end so early. And so, Kukushi, now you're quite aware that you already have the lead. Like you mentioned, State, you don't have to greed for every single jelly. You just have to not hit any obstacles.
I mean, the distance is going to be one of the biggest discrepancies that we'll see in the entire preliminaries up until this point. It might be, what, 2 or 3 even hit. Potential difference between Jung-Ho and Kukushi right now in a high point map like this one.
And I get it. I get why it's happening, because after that first collision, you're like, okay, I got to greed for everything, right?
Yeah.
You're going to make every single opportunity happen. But once again, it's the same exact spot as Kukushi continues on just to set his own points. And he will be wrapping things up with a nice hefty win, leading 2-1 here in the finals.
Yeah, basically a victory lap, collecting those last 40 million points as the map is loading in. The players are ready. Jung-Ho on top, Kukushi on bottom, and let's get started.
All right, so right here early on, again, Kukushi just trying to stay afloat, and Jung-Ho actually not able to. Oh yeah, he does actually get one of those extra objects right on early on, which gives him that same lead again.
And destruction points not especially prioritized here by Kukushi. Seems like over the course of this finals, a little bit more of a defensive playstyle coming out from him. He seems to be a little bit more risk adverse compared to Jung-Ho. He's not going for every single jelly, he's not going for every single point, but his play is so solid because he's not taking any damage at any moment.
That's true. I mean, none of those crazy blunders that we've seen, but I mean, that's actually a giant bear jelly loss as well. So on top of that, on top of the bonus points from the destruction, it starts to make a big difference here, giving a nice 2 million, 1 million lead here for Jung-Ho.
Of course, it's plus 200,000 points on that giant bear jelly, 600,000 on the rainbow. So you can play conservatively and safely if you want here as Kukushi, but you absolutely do want to go for these big bear jellies when they show up.
All right, Jung-Ho just trying to stay locked in. He doesn't want to make any mistakes. That's been the story so far here in the grand finals. It's the mistakes that have cost him the maps that he lost. He wants to stay alive.
Yeah, it feels like his skill ceiling is almost higher with his playstyle, but it is more risk prone. He's a little bit greedy, but hey, if he can play perfectly, if he can deliver at his real skill level, it will pay off.
We'll see if he's able to keep that stability. And now neither one having made any big mistakes here in the last couple seconds.
Yeah, just using their skill abilities to make sure they deal with all these potential dangers. Said no damage being done just yet. The jumps and double jumps coming through as well. Ooh, one more big bear. 2 more big bears getting missed by Kukushi. That gap is widening.
Yeah, that's kind of big. That's a lot at once. And now Kukushi having to fight to catch back up.
Yeah, this is very painful. You can see a really big smile on Kukushi's face, and he shakes his head no. I think he realizes this one is starting to get a little bit out of reach unless Jung-Ho makes one more mistake. Jung-Ho's just been so solid in terms of the jelly collection on this map.
Yeah, exactly. Jung-Ho has the pattern and the build just pat down for himself. Not going too crazy, but also making sure he doesn't play ultra safe, making sure he's getting at least all the necessities right now.
Yeah, skill activations coming through just to clear the way, collecting a couple extra jellies on top of that. Their eyes are on Kukushi, trying to see whether he can catch every single one of these jellies, because you really can't afford any more misses. You might have been safe and conservative up until this point, but you really need to try and send it home now, and 2 more get missed.
Oh, yeah, that's going to start to cost him a little bit. He had a couple opportunities to try to catch back up with maybe some of the destruction just to make sure he has a chance, but it starts to widen again. He still can't afford to miss any of these giant bear jellies as we now switch over to the Choco Cookies.
Yeah, the chest Choco Cookies now coming out. Each wins. I think we're likely going to see a lot of rooks come out to kind of clear these obstacles, make for a safer path, and also collect some destruction points.
And now cycling through those chess pieces, so it's going to come down to making sure that you line yourself up for maximum points. Now moving on to the next phase.
So far, all these big bear jellies getting collected here by Kukushi. The gap isn't that large anymore. Oh, but he misses another one.
And it's the same one here. It's similar situations before where Kukushi ends up taking the double jump to try to destroy the top line, but Jung-Ho is actually able to stay completely uniform with the bottom line of obstacles, and that gives him a more consistent point.
Yeah, more of these getting missed right now. Maybe prioritizing the destruction points a little bit, but in any case, it's just not really going this way. That gap is widening out of 4 million points, which admittedly is still very close between these two, but you gotta get every jelly here as Kukushi, and you gotta hope that Jung-Ho messes up.
I think Kukushi kind of knows that unless a mess up happens on the other side, that it's a bit done for him, but all he can do is try his best and hope. Meanwhile, Jung-Ho, you see, he's lasered and he's locked in. He hasn't reacted to anything that's happening around him, just making sure that he plays his best run, trying to bring us to a 5th map.
And the energy level getting lower and lower as the players dodge these cogs.
Oh, yeah, that's some extra there here for Jung-Ho as well. Now trying to catch back up the big distance gain, though, from Kukushi. So we'll see if that makes a difference, but I don't think it's going to be enough. Oh, my gosh, so close.
Yeah.
400,000. Jung-Ho, the one mistake at the end could have actually cost him the run, but it does not matter.
Wow.
A win is a win.
All right, the game is loaded up. Let's get into it. This is the final map of the Plains Regional Preliminary. Jung-Ho loading in first, Kukushi right behind him. And just as Chobar said, you got to make sure you get all of those critical giant bear jellies plus 1K points, compounding for each. So the count, the total count is going to be the most important factor. Missing even one of them is going to be crucial. And for Kukushi, who up until this point has been maybe a little bit more prone to missing those big jellies, it's a concern.
Yeah, we'll see if Kukushi can lock in this time around. Still, both sides collecting all of them so far. Missing a couple of the smaller bear jellies, but again, our eyes are on the giant bear jellies.
Yeah, eyes on the prize. It's all about the giant bears right here. If you can get one more than your opponent, that is probably good enough for a win. If you can get 2 or 3 more, that might just seal the deal.
Yeah, still keeping clean on both sides. No collisions. All the giant bear jellies collected as well.
Yeah, perfection on both sides in terms of the giant bear jellies. You can really see them both prioritize that over absolutely everything else. As long as you don't have a collision, as long as you get the giant bear, you always have a chance of coming back in this one.
Yep, she gets all the drop as well, making sure you pick up the rainbow bear jellies in between.
Flawless thus far, really impressive stuff. I mean, the score is remarkably even. Keep in mind, Jung-Ho just had that little bit of a start, so his energy going to deplete a little bit faster.
We'll see if Kukushi makes sure that he's catching up right in tandem. I mean, less than 100,000. This is literally as equal as you can get on a map like this.
Okay, with these speed boosts coming in, it's very tricky, even with that double jump, to get all the giant bear jellies, and indeed they both do. And Kukushi even getting almost every single one of the basic jellies on top of that.
Okay, make sure that they collect all of them as they go through, using that pepper smoke to destroy all the obstacles as well, clearing the path forward.
Yeah, good skill activation. Now you gotta be really careful with these dips. Okay, 1, 2, miss by Kukushi.
Oh no, it starts to add up.
It's gonna keep getting bigger. You need a hope right now that Jung-Ho misses some as well, but he has been perfect. Okay, he misses 1.
Okay.
It's a 1 in favor of Jung-Ho.
Yeah, and actually a drop here from Jung-Ho, and he's not the one with the extra safe rescues here.
Oh, did he take damage?
Yeah, he goes for the fall.
Oh, no.
That is an extra giant bear jelly loss from Kukushi, but we got to remember that he's actually got that safety net, or perhaps a different build here for the extra rescues from the drops into the holes.
Yeah, that's a critical junction in this map right now. Jung-Ho, he can't afford to miss anything else. There still is a world that he can win this despite taking that damage, as long as he can consistently get more jellies. And Kukushi, look at that, 2 more misses.
Yeah, both of them starting to miss a couple more here and there, but we still see a nice lead here for Kukushi because of that early miss from Jung-Ho.
These torches so dangerous. Another bear missed right there by Kukushi.
Oh, and look at that. The relay's already happened for Jung-Ho because of that drop earlier. This is so huge. It's such a disadvantage for Jung-Ho.
Yeah, Kukushi knows right now when he sees that score differential increase that something bad happen to the opponent, and so we might see a little bit more conservative play coming out from him. He does miss 2 of these giant bear jellies. That's going to lower the lead a little bit, but he has so much energy left.
Yeah, now again, because this is compounding bonuses, you can't get too lax in terms of missing the giant bear jellies, but maybe some of those other jellies, Kukushi should be able to go back to his more conservative play style, making sure that he weaves, just raises his head just in time to collect those giant bear jellies. Meanwhile, up top on Jung-Ho's screen, he's still trying to stay locked in, collecting all the giant bear jellies that he can.
Yeah, the jump and double jump timing, spectacular on both sides in this section of the map. The basic jellies getting collected here as they make it look so easy. Lead 28 million, plus all the extra energy that Kukushi has. As long as he can defend Chobra, he might be the winner here today.
Yeah, I mean, I think as long as you don't miss any more crucial giant bear jellies, Kukushi should be fine, right? He can still go for a different build and a different line with the extra rescues as well.
Yes.
And so he's got that extra safety net. Jung-Ho, meanwhile, just has to play perfect and hope and pray as we near the end of the energy here for Jung-Ho.
With the torch stage already done, the odds of injury here for Kukushi going down dramatically. It's much easier to play safe in this section of the map. It's more about just getting every single one of these bears, and given the buffer that he has, he can afford to lose a couple of them too.
It should be clean. That's the end of the run for Jung-Ho, and Kukushi is nodding his head. He cannot lose this run. It's just about sending a statement. Goes for the drop near the end to get the extra as well, and that will secure his win, going for 1.094.
Man, what an epic finals here in the Plains Regional Preliminary. Kukushi going to be the victor today. He has secured the #1 seed.
Finals, and Kukushi becoming the preliminary winner here for the Plains region.